My name is Alex Rossides. I'm the president of the Growth Philanthropy Network, and on behalf of the Growth Philanthropy Network, Duke University, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, I'd like to welcome you to the second annual Social Impact Exchange Conference on Scaling. We are absolutely delighted to have so many of you here to address this important challenge. It's one of the most important challenges facing our sector and indeed our country. The challenge of how to consistently scale up our social solutions so they improve the lives of millions of people and help transform our society. Last year, we took the first steps together in forming a community that can address this challenge. And this year, we want to take the next steps together along this path. My role today is to share with you the purpose of the Social Impact Exchange in our work and touch on the goals of the conference, and then turn it over to Ed Skloot, who will be your master of ceremonies today and throughout the conference. So as many of you know, the Social Impact Exchange is a national membership association completely dedicated to addressing the challenge of scaling in the social sector. It was born from a deep conviction that whatever the solutions might be, if they are not scaled up to reach vastly more people, then we will fail to solve our most difficult social problems. The exchange has a clear focus on scaling impact, which can take many forms in addition to replication and growing an individual organization. Its focus is also primarily on the private sector's mechanisms to scale impact. Many have looked to government as the ultimate scale funder, and we certainly need to understand how best to work with government and when its capital should come into play. But it's clear that government will have less capital to spend going forward, and the social sector will need to carry solutions to further maturity and proof. It's also clear that the necessary progress on scaling will require a major sector-wide effort that by its very nature must entail broad-based collaboration in every issue area, in every city, and across the sectors of philanthropy, business, and government. And so the purpose of the Social Impact Exchange is to serve as a common ground where all parties can come together and work together to move the field of scaling forward. The exchange is highly collaborative, and at its heart, it's action-oriented, with members identifying initiatives and implementing them through working groups. Launched in 2009, the exchange now has 2,800 members, 180 funders and leaders signed up to participate on working groups, and it's easy to join. If you go to our website, doesn't cost anything, and everyone is welcome. Its launch would not have been possible without our terrific partners at Duke University and major support from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and its Vulnerable Populations Group led by Jane Lowe. RWJF has now been joined by Rockefeller Foundation as a major supporter and by 6 additional charter members, including the Kresge Foundation, Bank of America, the Star Foundation, American Express, the Stone Foundation, and the Mayor Phillips Foundation. And my heartfelt thanks to each of them for believing in the importance of this work. Many have recognized over the last decade that success in consistently scaling social solutions will not come from individuals acting independently, nor even from sporadic scaling collaboratives. It will require the emergence of a system that enables consistent collaboration and large amounts of capital to be repeatedly generated. For businesses in the for-profit sector, there exists a mature system to vet and select and nurture and support the growth of companies. Yet no such system exists in the social sector. As Carl Stober, the CEO of the Danville Regional Foundation, wrote in his recent paper for the Philanthropy Review, quote, "While our field has many innovations, We have few communication channels or social systems needed to diffuse them. If we cannot get new ideas to scale and to impact, we are doomed to be an ineffective and inefficient field. So, though the exchange has several goals, its primary one is to build a philanthropic capital marketplace that can identify, nurture, and consistently finance hundreds of scaling efforts annually at a national, state, and local level. A marketplace with thousands of funders that efficiently connects buyers and sellers, or in our case, funders and high-impact nonprofits. Such a marketplace will certainly function differently than for-profit capital markets. But without such a system, it's hard to imagine being able to organize the amount of capital necessary to consistently scale our solutions. Establishing a marketplace is difficult. The good news is that we are not starting from scratch. We're building on the incredible work of many over the last 10 to 15 years, including the Ed McConnell Clark Foundation, PPV, New Profits, Sea Change, Bridgespan, Venture Philanthropy Partners, MDRC, and many, many more. We also have a growing pipeline of evidence-based, scalable nonprofits who have dedicated themselves to developing systems and strategies to scale their impact. In addition, there are a growing number of high-quality intermediaries. These firms are doing phenomenal work day in and day out to identify and help prepare scalable initiatives for funding in different issues at different stages of growth and in cities across the country. So, the foundational elements are in place. And our job now is to connect this good work into a system that supports those scale-ready nonprofits while also enabling funders to achieve their impact goals. The exchange's strategies are geared towards building that marketplace system. And over the last year, it's begun this work through a set of initiatives led by its working groups. For example, to more efficiently connect thousands of individual philanthropists to scaling initiatives, one working group has launched an effort to develop an investment platform that houses a growing number of scale-ready nonprofits. The intent is to integrate it with the platforms of financial institutions that will distribute the nonprofits to thousands of their philanthropic clients. Tomorrow, you'll see a demo of the platform and hear from the first of what we hope will be many firms that are piloting the initiative with their donors. This summer, we will also be launching the SIF Registry, an online platform that houses in one place information on SIF intermediaries, that's the Social Innovation Fund intermediaries, and their subgrantees, so that the field of philanthropy can more easily provide the matching dollars for those organizations. In addition, to engage foundations, the exchange is forming working groups in the issue areas of education, poverty, health, and impact investing. Those working groups will focus on creating scaling marketplaces in those fields with hundreds of funders. We're also planning to pilot models for local marketplaces so that cities can similarly organize marketplaces with hundreds of funders involved to scale solutions locally. Models for these marketplaces will be introduced at tomorrow's sessions. Also being introduced is a new framework for conducting due diligence on scaling initiatives. That's been developed collaboratively with the Exchange and the Alliance for Effective Social Investing. There's a copy of the framework in your conference bags, and it will be shared at tomorrow's evaluation session for your feedback and your good thinking. And finally, the Exchange Knowledge Working Group, spearheaded by our partners at Duke, has developed an inclusive strategy to aggregate, develop, and disseminate knowledge on scaling to the field. It's still very early in this process, but as you can see, a system where we can collaborate and connect great opportunities to funders while continuously building our learning is beginning to take shape. The main ingredient that's required now to succeed is the will and the participation of all of you and the many funders throughout the sector. There is a role for everyone to play, either in building or funding through this system. There are opportunities for involvement that can include almost every issue, every local community, every stage of growth, and different forms of capital. In other words, there is something here that can align with the work of almost all funders. So the most important thing we can do is get engaged. Join a working group in an issue area you care about. Join a funder community in your local city. Connect with intermediaries here at the conference, or involve your companies and your firms. There's no question we will need the Exchange Conference provides an opportunity to take a step in this direction. It's been set up over the next 2 days to share projects that are underway and to give opportunities to get involved. There's an incredible lineup of speakers, and we feel very grateful for that. Day 1 is devoted to a plenary session, multiple plenary sessions actually, and presentations from 6 of the top nonprofits in the country who will present their scaling plans. On day 2, we'll have a variety of knowledge breakout sessions which will give you an opportunity to learn how to participate in scaling markets in your communities or in issues you care about. And tonight, at our cocktail party and dinner reception, we're going to have a little bit of fun. Everyone is encouraged to connect with intermediaries and presenting nonprofits who will each have a table set up. In fact, you each have an actual dance card in your conference bags. And we'd like you to fill up your dance cards with at least 5 conversations with those intermediaries and nonprofits. At the end of the day on Thursday, we'll collect the cards and hold a drawing with those who have 5 names filled out, and the winner receives a free registration to next year's conference for themselves and a nonprofit of their choice. In all seriousness, though, we know this work is not easy, but we have incredibly talented people in this field, and we still have sufficient resources to tap in this country. So there is no reason why we can't build a system that generates billions of dollars annually in support of scaling effective initiatives, if we set our minds to it. There is no reason why we can't work hand in hand with business and government to lead the way in scaling up economic solutions for the world's poor, or increase learning of citizens at home and across the globe, or scale breakthroughs in health and agriculture that exponentially increase our standard of living. It is doable if we work together and have the collective will to make it happen. And I promise you, as I did last year, that if you get involved, we will be with you every step of the way, supporting your hard work and turning it into scaled impact.